Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to Dungeons and Discourse, a discourse. Let's start that over. Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to Dungeons and Discourse, a D&D discussion podcast where we talk about all things related to Dungeons and Dragons, be that running or playing the game. I'm joined today with Walter, the humble, the grateful, the what are your titles again?
The person.
The person, Walter the person. Yeah, great to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and then today's episode is all about player deaths. So how should you go about killing your players when you're a DM? But also, how should you go about a situation if your player character is killed in combat or maybe in a narrative situation?
The right answer is also always to throw a hissy fit.
Yeah, of course. So I've not prepared much, to be honest.
No, me neither, but
yeah.
I feel like we both got our experience and opinions, and I don't know, there probably wouldn't anything to really prepare about this, except maybe run a session where you kill your characters or something.
Yeah, don't do that, by the way.
No.
Unless you're playing 10 candles, in which case it's okay.
Or a one-shot.
Yes. So I think the thing that inspired me that's such a grandiose way of saying it. The thing that brought on the idea of this episode was an instance where I was really supposed to kill your character.
Yeah, I felt like this was coming, The moment you, started this subject or suggested this subject, I had a feeling where it was coming from, and it was the Oni situation, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this was really a classic instance of where I was supposed to kill a player character whilst I was a DM, and that I didn't, because that is really difficult killing your players.
You already half started the story and I teased it, so why don't you give us the whole situation?
Exactly. It's maybe a bit of a weird way to start out. So the setting is this essentially. We've got a campaign we're playing with a bunch of people that have got their inheritance. Yeah. It's for this large chateau in the middle of a swamp. It's all run down, it's infested with goblins, etc., etc. Either way, they get this quest from a baron or a wealthy merchant. And
not really a quest. There was a gruesome murder in the night, and we basically followed up on that.
Oh, yeah.
Not really a quest.
I guess it was very organic.
Yeah.
Yeah, So indeed, there was this baron had one of his children killed, I think.
One of his children was straight up got it at the place, and the other one was taken.
Very dark, by the way. Just a quick content warning.
This is on YouTube. You have this checkbox. Is this for children audience? And I never check it.
Yeah, it's probably a good one. Yeah.
So it's fine.
Cool. Yeah. So either way, I guess that was kind of the plot hook, I guess. Is that, there's this gruesome murder. And then there were some tracks and some clues to figure out that,
there was a, starting off from where, the crime was committed, there was a blood trail we actually followed.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This wall.
Or so gory.
There was this window of this wooden shack that would just... Something big had just went through and even just smashed through the sides of the windows because it couldn't
all the wood
fit.
was bent and splinters were all around it. Yes, I remember that.
But we're getting off track with the details. The situation where you fail to kill off a player character.
You tracked the trails. You met this orc who was like, I'm actually tracking the same creature. Let's team up. Mm-hmm. He led you to a cave where you guys were talking about splitting up because you wanted to find a missing child that was supposedly taken by the attacker.
Yeah, time was really of the essence. We thought.
So you two you all discussed, and then you realized, maybe it's better to split up. And the orc was like, yeah, we really should split up. This is a great idea. So half of you went...
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
We were completely blind at the moment.
Yeah. So half the party went right, half the party went left. And then one half of the party kind of came at this cliffside where Hork, the orc, wow, that's a great name, by the way, pushed, I think it was you.
Yeah.
He pushed you from this like cliff. I think it was like a 40 or 30 feet drop. So you took,
60.
Like 60 feet?
Yeah.
God, I am an evil DM.
We were like level
3, I think.
3, 4 characters.
Yeah, level 3. You got level 4 after that encounter because I felt bad.
I remember like this drop being lethal for my character, and I was a wizard.
Did you get down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was a wizard. Like for my, but I had a +2 on con, and I had some awesome HP rolls because I roll. Don't judge me. So I was actually quite tanky, but the fall did still down me.
Yeah, probably a bit of a design fault on my end, but either way, you got down from this drop, and then I think the turn after Hork transformed into his actual form, which was that of an Oni. And Oni are, for people that are maybe not as familiar with D&D, or not as familiar with the monster manual as you and I might be. They're like these ogre, like spirit-ish, also not really spirit-ish, like creatures that can like shapeshift into humanoids.
It's a magical monster.
Yeah, they're a bit weird. Yeah. Honestly, I should probably read them.
Very magical.
Yeah.
Very smart as well.
Yeah, I really like picked this creature based on the idea of like, I want to have this like betrayal-ish encounter set up and really like mess with the player. So I had this entire lair kind of set up with little traps that you could spring. So there was like this rock wall that was like held in place with multiple rocks, and he could knock that over, and then all the rocks would fall, and there would be like a block of passage. He had like a boulder he was like rolling down like a hill, or like I guess a larger cavern up above that would like fall on one of the players. He had like a wolf in a cage he could unleash. That never happened. But he had all these like little traps set up, and there were like these little sneaky passages where he could go through and trying to outpace you guys whilst you were going the long way around. I guess trying to leave the cave, or whilst trying to fight him or meet each other because you'd split up. Yeah. But the problem was that you guys were all level 3 and this Oni was a CR7 creature. And there was like a thing I tend to do where I decide an encounter and think, this stat block is probably fine. Then I miss like 1 or 2 details. I think in this case, I realized that, this guy like regenerates 10 health each round and there's no way to stop it. So unlike a vampire or some other creatures, you can like stop it with radiant damage or fire damage. Not the case for this creature.
We got really majestically, like, royally fucked by this thing.
Yeah. It wasn't even, like, that bad. It was just he had a 5th level spell, and that downed all of you in, like, 1 turn, which is kind of bad. And then you guys managed to meet up, get to the exit of the cave to try to flee. Mm-hmm. Then he was there, and he was just like, boop, everyone's downed. Yeah, I think I insta-killed one of our players already. But I had, like, this cool backstory, like, character thing I could, like... So that is already, if I were like to stick to the dice, this other player should have died right there from that Cone of Cold spell.
Yeah, Cone of Cold, that was.
Yeah, this is honestly like a level 5 spell. It's ridiculous. But I had this idea of like, okay, I don't really want to kill people off of this one spell that just is kind of over like balanced. So I like set him apart because we have like secrets that we gave each character as part of this campaign, and I could really integrate his secret into like this weird revival mechanic. I don't know if you like know the secret yet because the campaign is still ongoing.
It has something to do with some kind of djinn, I believe.
Yeah, but then it changed essentially. So like,
and now with the devil.
Yeah. So essentially. Yeah.
Well, don't give me the details. Go to the part where I should have been killed.
But that's also like a way I handled the character death. I think that's a good way of handling something. Where I had their character that was supposed to die.
He didn't die.
According to the rules. But then I figured, this is kind of cheap. Tell you what I'll do. I'll give him a choice. I still gave him a choice in a way. Do you want your player characters to die? Or do you want to use this like narrative reason that works well to kind of get him out of it? And then he made the choice to, of course, let his character live on.
Yeah.
And then it built upon his character, because now he's got this entire conflict thing with these devils to overcome. So it doesn't feel cheap. But then also I didn't kill his character in an unfair way, so that was a win-win. And then as part of a deal, I had all of you guys that had succeeded your death saves. Mm-hmm. And now we're trapped with this Oni. So instead of just saying, oh, just kills everyone, I did this interrogation setup. Essentially, this Oni knew there was a hag in town that had marked the child that he had kidnapped. And by the time you guys were tied up, he just revealed that he'd already eaten the child.
Yeah, so
kind of a failed mission at that point, maybe.
We went there basically for nothing.
Yes.
Just risked our life for a child that already was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a feel bad when he revealed that, yes.
Yeah. But then you did get some good information about that, because he assumed that you guys had contacts with this hag that had marked the kid that he ate. And then this was some new information for you guys about the campaign. Mm-hmm. It's the first time this was revealed. But also, now he was interrogating you guys one by one, figuring out what was going on. So I placed each of you in a different spot in the cave. Right, you guys all roll d4s for the place you would end up.
Yeah.
So I think two of you were tied up together, and then you and one other person were separate.
Yeah.
They'd walk around, trying to get information about each other, so we could use it against you guys. It was walking throughout the caves. Mm-hmm. And then I'd set up this death save system where if you were favorable to him, it would count as a success. And if you were trying to work against, it would count as a failure. And if you got too many failures, you would essentially have a cause to kill you. And then if you got enough successes, he would either be inclined to let you go, or you could free your bindings and make an escape attempt.
Yeah.
And then, either way, one person was insanely friendly with the guy. And then he also was very clear that he just didn't really want to deal with any of it. And he was just yeah, all of my friends are just weird, go kill them instead. So he was almost immediately let go.
Yeah.
And then there were two people that were together, and they kept trying to escape, but they kept rolling really high on these fake death saves. So they were still kind of in his goodwill. So they're playing equal parts. And then one of them was a druid, so he just turned into a spider. So he he was
gone.
Yeah. And you were left behind. You were getting the worst of the interrogation, right? I think he cut off one of your fingers at some point.
Yeah. I think he did, yeah.
Yeah. After he had one of the other players choose.
Yeah, and then he started asking, who should I kill? Because I've got to eat my fill, man.
Yeah, and you were just kill me. It felt horrible, nasty scene to set up as a DM.
Yeah, and you did this to a really antisocial player character. Putting him under pressure, and he just instantly broke, and the Oni was having none of it.
Exactly. So at this point, you'd failed all of these semi death saves.
Yeah.
And you'd clearly stated to the guy, "Just kill me, let me die."
Yeah.
And then I said, "Okay, now these goblins invade the cave, and there's this semi rescue thing going on." And then he picked you up and just tossed you on the ground. And I even had you make a luck save to see what would happen. You rolled a luck save, by the way. It's something we use in our campaigns. You just roll a flat d20 without bonuses, and then if it's higher than 10, the outcome is favorable. If it's lower than 10, the outcome is unfavorable.
Yeah.
So you rolled a 9, which is lower than 10. Which in my head I ruled as okay, if this guy rolls lower, I should really kill his character. Then you still rolled a 9, and it was that's good enough, right? So I had 3 or 4 times where that should have been it should have been the death of your character, and every time we're just move the goalpost a little bit. Ooh, a little bit more. It's fine. He can still live. And then I think it was very unsatisfying for you, maybe even.
I was very happy that my character didn't die, but afterwards we had a talk. He did really offend the Oni and fuck up in different ways, and they knew they were going to something dangerous, and it had the entire setup of a player character being killed, and then it didn't. I had mixed feelings about this, because I basically was already in with these death saves, and I was failing. I was already like, oh yeah, I'm in grief. I'm losing a character. This I see no way out.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow miraculously he survived, which made me happy. But like, also, like, removed a bit of like immersion.
It really like ruins also the tone and the feel of the campaign, I feel. Because it's supposed to be this like intimidating atmosphere, right? You're in this little,
it was
like,
very intimidating still.
Village, yeah. But yeah, it's a bit cheap.
You had enough reason to kill.
Exactly, but I didn't go through with it because I was genuinely scared to kill your character. Which I should have done, as I've already.
I mean,
stated
it's
times.
only natural, right? As for a DM not wanting to kill a character, they already have like lore invested and their own reasons for furthering the plot of the whole campaign, and
it's difficult
both for the player character and the DM. It could be hard to say goodbye to a character, but sometimes you just have to cut the knots and just get it over with.
Yeah, indeed. But I think that's indeed at that point when I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Because there were like a few characters that weren't as developed at that point. And I think your character was one of the more developed ones. So I was like, oh, I've kind of got a lot of things going on here. Maybe you shouldn't die. And then also, we always have like these scheduling problems, right? Mm-hmm. So I also don't want to risk that you lose interest in the campaign because I kill your character. Because then, at that point, that would almost be the end of the campaign, right?
Yeah.
That's also something that's always like going on in my head, at least, when I kill a character. That could somehow lead to someone losing interest.
I never thought about that, though.
It's always a big factor for me. But I guess it depends, for each DM.
We have this other session as well, you and me, where, we play Tomb of Annihilation.
Yeah. Which is, once again, shout out to Maarten.
Yeah.
We can shout him off enough here. He should honestly just join us for an episode. But then the last episode, we had a guest, which, of course, people that are trying to listen
for
to
the
this,
holder.
Yeah, such a shame. Maybe we should actually bring this up. Or kind of like interjecting in your host. Maybe you should... Let's do your thing first.
My thing first?
Yes,
I was just going to mention the Tomb of Annihilation. We know beforehand that it was going to be a dangerous adventure because Tomb of Annihilation is a dangerous adventure. And so the one of the first things Maarten suggested to us is to at least have an ID for a backup character.
Yes. Which is always like ominous if someone says
that. Yeah, that's ominous. That's a good way of foreshadowing that something is gonna be dangerous.
Yeah.
Like now we actually further progressed in the story, and we actually entered the tomb, and he told us for the next session, because we are gonna enter the tomb, straight up, alright, I want you guys all to have a worked, like a fully fledged, leveled up character, as a secondary character for next session.
Yeah.
So, shit's gonna go down in that tomb.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also he has a lot. He's a lot better at killing his player characters, I guess. And I wonder, at least that's what it looks like to me. I think maybe because he is a lot more, in the mindset of...
I think that's just the general, campaign setting.
Yeah, maybe.
Knowing where you get into. You prefer, the ominous type. But it's a bit... you're a bit inexperienced with actual danger, and that's a pre-written part of Tomb of Annihilation. You know that you're getting into an actual dangerous, pre-written campaign, and it actually says in the start of the book, there's a meat grinder option.
Yeah, I think that's probably like, is it like a separate like difficulty thing for it? Or
Yeah,
how is it?
You get disadvantage on death saving throws.
Wow, I was not aware. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and
But
I
then-
believe then next to the disadvantages, the DC for like surviving a death save is also 15.
Whoa,
So it's
that's
like
rough.
really,
That's rough.
yeah.
Then of course resurrection magic doesn't work in Tomb of Annihilation
No.
because it's Tomb of Annihilation. It's like supposed to do with the plot of that book, but maybe that's a bit of a
Well,
tangent.
there are foreshadowed some ways that it might work, but
Really?
that's through other powers.
Oh, I see. Fair.
We actually met one of those powers, and there's actually, or I believe we met one of those powers, and that's actually where one of my one of
but
my
I feel like
character dies.
That's like
died.
more of a necromancy thing, maybe.
Ah,
We should discuss
but-
the character death, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
So, a good player dev should probably start with the players knowing that they're going somewhere dangerous.
Yes, it has to be like a conscious choice, I guess.
Yes.
Or need to be informed. Which I guess as a DM is like your form of consent. If the players know there's danger and they still choose to approach the danger, then already the players should be aware that there's something that might kill their character.
They need to know that they're getting into either a dangerous tomb or danger situation, or just the general campaign being just like bring a second character.
So I think Tomb of Annihilation by
That's-
definition qualifies. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the idea of beforehand, like getting back at the Oni thing, we tracked a monster that like was obviously very dangerous.
Yes, correct.
But it was our choice to still go through with it.
Yeah.
And then we went into its lair.
Of course, there was still like some subterfuge going on with him, like fooling you guys.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we still actively chose to go after this danger.
Yeah, and I think even one of the players managed to find out that the orc was lying about something. So there was even
Yeah.
like, some reason to mistrust him.
There was in this fabricated backstory about
An orc tribe didn't exist. Or
yeah,
something
orc
similar.
tribe didn't exist
Yeah.
among the swamp or something.
Yeah.
But he said he was from the swamp. Well, but we never really figured out what was it from, and we didn't get any. Yeah, we should have done a background check on him.
Well, was he
Like-
getting political all of a sudden? No, it's a joke.
But next to your players need to be informed.
Mm.
There need to be, like, I think several failures. Like failures of a bad ID taking place, like splitting up the party. Or, say is failing some kind of DC might be in there, but I don't want that
depends,
to
I
be
guess.
a singular reason.
That's the problem I have with like some monster set blocks that have stuff like petrification in them, which is if you're a lower level, that's a death sentence for your character essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like we discussed the Gorgon earlier, which is a CR5 creature. If you're a CR5 party, it's a very, very slim chance that you can actually save a party member that's been petrified. The spells that allow you to save someone like that, I think you get at the level 11, right?
I believe it's Greater Restoration.
Maybe it's 9?
5th level spell.
No, I think it's 9th level. You get 5th level spells, right?
I do not recall by heart.
Yeah, because level 1 is 1, 3 is 2, 5 is 3, 7. Yeah. So once you're a 9th level party, you can like deal with such dangers. But CR5, you're level 5 party, not level 9.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm also a little averse to those effects.
So either they need to know about the monster.
Yeah.
And
Which
be
you
able
can
to
do
make
as well.
like preparations. We, no one died there, but there was some obviously danger. We, in the same campaign as the Oni, went after Katoblebas.
Yes. Which is like this pork pork that's meat. Like a pig, warthog, dinosaur, rhino hybrid creature. It's Follows Guide to Monsters.
When I finally looked at it, it was like this long ass buffalo.
Yeah. Oh, it's also like a barred buffalo. Yeah, it's a weird creature.
Yeah.
There's CR5.
Anyway,
yeah.
We know it had like a gaze attack.
Yeah, they were, like,
and it was
people.
very like big and tanky. But we were level 3 at the time.
Yeah, but
we
from
still...
the start of the campaign, the first session, I built this creature up, was like, oh, it's the cat of Blevas, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
And then you guys spent, I think, 3 or 4 sessions building up to this encounter, preparing
a trap for a cat of Blevas.
You got like in contact with this huntress that was in the village you were in, and she helped you set up like this trap. You'd like spot wires in the trees. You could like
stay out of his reach.
You'd made this large like mud pit that could like trap him. He never walked in there, but you guys did like a lot of prep work. And
we had snares and mirrors even.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it had a gaze attack.
Yeah.
And thank God we knew it had a gaze attack.
Yeah.
Because you straight up told us, like through an NPC, that it has some kind of a looking ability.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you explained, I believe, that will kill you.
Which was already a bit of a nefarious thing, by the way.
Very ominous.
Because the way the looking ability actually works is that he just needs to look at you. You don't have to look back at him, like in traditional, mythology, like with Medusas and stuff. So it's weird you guys might not get that part and like assume, oh, we'll just get mirrors and we're good. Which locally you didn't, right? You fully prepared. And the only reason you survived is because you had to do the fog cloud afterward, the fight.
Yeah.
But
we tried to hide, but then we got down to the stealth roll, I believe, with advantage, but like a person still failed.
Yeah, I wanted to like climb a tree and he rolled really low.
I believe like we were hidden from sight really well.
Oh, and it has keen smell.
It has keen smell.
Yes,
that was
indeed.
it. So it was able to smell someone out of that was hidden inside a tree.
Yeah, because you didn't like cover in mud.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like for someone to think that far ahead is also really quite the expectancy, of course. But
just reviewing that situation, we know what we were getting into.
Mm.
It was a dangerous situation in France, and there was a failure. We forgot to mask our smell.
Yeah, which you can say that's cheap, but I feel it's fine. It's in play.
And so I believe if we made one more mistake,
like not having fog cloud,
essentially,
because you guys,
we would have been justified to lose a character or several characters.
Yeah. But the only reason I think that's okay is because that starts all the way at the start of this chain, right? Which is there's a cat of Blepas, and we make the choice to seek it out. That's like already where you know that there's danger, of course. But yeah, no one died. You killed the beast. Got a lot of like interesting rewards. Most of them were, of course, lore plot based, which is how I like to stage my campaigns. That was. I think
we didn't really get any money out of it, but like we got some reputation around the village for killing the cat of Blevas. We sold some part of it. No, we actually didn't. We're able to sell some things, but we are able to trade some things.
I think you presented the head to like the person that had taken over the chateau.
Yeah, supposedly.
This is all,
so we got some reputation.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, we're getting like way off topic because we were supposed to talk about your character's death in Maarten's campaign.
Yeah. But that's like an excellent example as well.
Mm.
Like we knew the general campaign was dangerous setting.
Mm.
He literally told us have a second character, like. Not prepared at that point, but like in mind, and be ready to lose one. And then in the middle of this jungle, spoilers by the way for people who want to play Tomb of Annihilation.
Mm.
Middle of this jungle, there was this old lady living on some kind of stone plateau. Actually elevated a bit out of the jungle. But she was alone.
Essentially. She seems very like
in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And like we failed to discover
that she was a lot more dangerous.
That she was a lot more dangerous.
Yes.
And then which I found a really good solution. We trusted her to make camp, or we trusted her enough to make camp next to her house.
Yes.
And we had people standing guard. But in the morning...
Can we have people standing guard?
We had people standing guard, yeah.
But
in the morning, like the last person who was standing guard was an NPC.
Yes, correct.
And when we all woke up, the NPC was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And then we like investigated him and we questioned the old lady. And she was like, "Oh no, I haven't seen anything. Did I mention I have dementia?"
And then someone drew a gun on her.
Yeah. And I believe that was when they're like out of the ground this flesh golem.
Yes. Then
she revealed herself to be a green hag.
No, was she a green hag?
Yeah.
I thought she was a night hag, but a green hag makes more sense. Yeah. She already had a flesh golem, of course.
And she probably ate the NPC.
Yeah, I think Maarten Fella told us after like a couple sessions. That guy was already dead.
But my character, like, he had not a relationship, but he was the same race as an NPC, and they have had a couple moments where they bonded a little. Correct. So they were. My character, like, everyone was running away in that fight. Like, obviously this was above their level, and there was this creature that was almost immune to normal attacks.
Yeah,
and this hag who was supporting it.
Gimmick was dealing lightning damage, which heals flesh golems, which was not a good fit for that fight either.
So we decided to run,
Yep.
but my character failed to run and basically went into or stayed in the fight.
Yeah. So someone had to die there, essentially, because someone needed to take the hit there and run away.
So there was fair warning, like the campaign itself, Tomb of Annihilation.
Yeah, that's consent.
But there also was this warning that there's this ominous lady who seems very like weak in the middle of this dangerous jungle.
I bought it like hook, line, and sinker. I just figured out this old lady. Why would these evil guys harass this little woman? Even they would not be as bad as to kill this lady that just thinks there's nothing wrong in this village and all her people are still around and she doesn't know anything. And then, oh no, it's because she is more dangerous. That was like the reveal.
The last failure probably was where we failed to get away from her.
Yeah.
So that...
Because it was a combat map, right?
Yeah.
So if we had like spells prepared to flee, expedition retreat, we could have gotten out. But we didn't have that prepared, of course. So even then there was still a way to get out of it. So we had multiple opportunities, which I'd say indeed justifies killing the character.
But I believe that was a good example of a justified player character death.
Yeah, I think so too. How do you like look back on the experience of having your character killed there?
I was really pissed.
Yeah?
At first that he killed the NPC.
Yeah, I was more annoyed with the NPC dying almost than your player character.
And my player character like I believe he knew what he was doing. That's he wouldn't or really difficultly would have gotten out there. And then it was this really honorable character. And so he just... I believe he sacrificed itself, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this if I recall, when he was down, this hag like turned on him, and like in front of the party, which was already a couple of 100 feet like away, the hag like executed the person, so there was no way of like bringing him back.
I thought he was like dragged away by a flash gun. Maybe it was like an accident.
No, the hag like ripped his throat open or something.
Yeah,
something like incredibly brutal, like in front of the party. The hag enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, that's the point of hags, right? Yeah.
So there was. That was the obvious end of the character.
Yeah, I would think it was a good thing altogether. Because then we got your next character, which I think was a much better fit and more fun to interact with for the party.
I remember being upset, but not at someone in particular, but more at the person who deceived us, like the hag.
Oh, yeah.
But not at the DM, not at the situation. It was clearly stated that it was a difficult situation. He made his own choice of staying in combat instead of running away. Like, the feelings passed pretty quickly because it was a logical situation where he would die.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
I think
it was a good way. This is why I think Maarten is better at handling player deaths than me. Because I think there's also scenarios where he kind of misses the mark, where maybe he kills character, or like wants to kill characters a bit too easily, maybe. But in this case, all of the signs were there. We missed a lot of them, and it was a good situation.
Give an example when, where you want to kill a character too easy, or you mentioned that he wants.
Yeah. So one example which I didn't agree with goes back to like the petrification stuff.
Oh,
you had an encounter with a Medusa.
Yeah, but
where
like if you go back and look at situation, that with the Medusa, that was
maybe we should give context first.
It's the same campaign still, so you know what to expect.
No, but I mean the problem was here that I think there was this like a large water like fountain or pond, and all of the stone statues were like hidden underneath the water, so we didn't have like a telltale sign of like, oh, there's like this petrifying creature there. Then she invited us, and once again, I think this is my weakness as a
my character actually went into the water and lifted this stone fish.
Yeah, but we were more confused than anything, I think. At least I didn't get the cue of like, oh,
like it was this really old temple, so I think we just thought it was just not like petrified, but we figured it was just part of the temple.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's. I think that we failed, like a check to see that.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was good foreshadowing. I
don't know. I don't think maybe this is what I was trying to say. I think I have like a weakness for characters that are like a little bit crazy, because then we encountered this like clearly. I think she was I think she just looked like a regular lady, right? She like hidden all the snakes in her head or something like that.
Maybe she looked like a Yanti.
Yeah, maybe that was it. And then she was talking to this ghost person that clearly wasn't there. She looked like she was mad. She was claiming she was like the queen of some country or like some kingdom that we knew she wasn't the queen of. And then she offered us food, and one of the players ate it. And then he got poisoned, so he had disadvantage on con saves. And then there were like clear rules for petrification, not look at her, but you get disadvantage on these checks, etc. And then at some point it was just, oh, you looked at her, make your save, you failed, oh, you're dead now. Which I felt was a bit cheap. Like, there were warning signs, sure, but just didn't feel nice. Also because the moment clearly didn't build up to the death. Like, when you look back at the hag encounter, there was narratively, we're reading leading up to this, okay, we're in the middle of nowhere, we've got a tough choice to make. Stay with this lady, knowing she's a little bit suspicious, or go back down this mountain, wasting 2 hours, potentially risking a dangerous encounter. So we had like a narrative reason to kind of risk it. Or we had like these cues that were very clear and defined. Whilst with this encounter with the Medusa that like clearly tricked us, with this player character in particular, he was just following these crazy cues along. Oh, she offers me food, my character likes food, I eat it. Oh, I'm poisoned now. Oh, I'm going to attack her. What? I didn't look at her, now I'm gonna get petrified instantly. It just felt like a very, oh, oops, you're dead now moment. Which, to me, is something I don't like, when there's not really a narrative reason, maybe.
This was in an abandoned temple, in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah, but it's just a random
super dangerous jungle, by the way.
Yeah,
which
I'm
were...
talking about narrative, not talking about, like, situation.
Which was a person guided by these evil birds.
Yeah, I
claiming she was a
claiming
she was a queen, and very, very clearly being emotionally unstable, to the point she welcomed us there, and she was very friendly, but when we asked or actually mentioned leaving, she turns very hostile, not like fight hostile yet, but and the food was poisoned. I think there were enough.
By the time we were poisoned, it was already too late. We started combat already.
Yeah, but I think there were enough red flags to begin with. There was some foreshadowing with the stone fishes in the water.
Maybe.
It was really...
I think it's more iffy. But I guess you can justify it.
I mean, it was really fake what we were fighting until she actually, like, showed herself, her petrification, and revealed her petrification ability. But I feel like your problem is more with petrification than the actual setting and the monster itself.
I think it's the fact that it's so unceremoniously right. When you died to the hack, it was like this, at least we get to live on. And
at least you get a couple of turns of combat.
Here in combat, it was like just like, oh, boop, you're dead now. And there's no like narrative cool thing to it. There's no like conflict. It's just this random lady we encountered. That's the thing that kind of bugs me. Yeah. Which is why I think I should have killed you in the Oni cave, because now that could be like a reason to make him like an adversary to the party, right? Oh, he killed one of us. He's like a really good villain now. Yeah. But I didn't do it there, for instance. But there it would have just been like, oh, this random lady petrified this dude, and then we killed her. That was it. But I don't know. Maybe I am indeed a bit biased.
Yeah, I believe...
Oh, people are going to get in the comments about this. Oh,
I believe
you're
just biased because this monster had the petrification ability.
Probably, yeah. Fine, I'm biased. I will take it, yes. Very well. Yeah, people will get mad in the comments. We'll go with that, yeah. Probably Maarten will be in there being all smug, like, oh, but it was this and this and this. If you're listening to this, Maarten, I don't care. I mean, I'll read your comments.
Thank you for running the campaign.
Yeah, it's a great campaign. Yeah.
It's
cool. I'm looking forward to all the player character devs
will encounter in the
Tomb of Annihilation. Yeah. I think I have a few more
Monster of the Week
player character. Well, this is okay. So currently we're at like 44 minutes almost.
Yeah. So
we can do 20 minutes for Monster of the Week. Personally, I think we're going to probably spend more time on the Monster of the Week than we'd like. So here is my pitch. You can either say no or yes, and we can do whatever. I have a few more player character devs I think we can discuss. That relate to the Underdark campaign that we've already mentioned in a few previous episodes. That might be cool to discuss. You might have some from other campaigns as well. We could finish like another 15-20 minutes with those.
I mean,
and skip Monster of the Week.
I think we covered the story of like the player characters that pretty well, and I'm probably also biased because I'm really curious what the Monster of the Week is.
Okay, fine, we'll do Monster of the Week. It's also weird to skip our like segment, I guess.
Like I think we can obviously every situation where there has been a player character death, you need to know beforehand that there is danger. Or you must actively choose to go there. And there must be some failures leading up to the moments.
Yeah, I think we discussed this pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright then. So you can get one final guess in if you want. It is a monster that has been a very large part of one of the campaigns we've played. Yeah, that's the final thing I'll give you. One last guess, then I'll reveal it.
Does it have to do with mind flayers?
Yes, actually it does.
Yeah! Ooh!
But it's not mind flayers.
Excited. Elder Brain?
In fact, the Kuo-toa.
God damn, no!
The fish people.
Scorpioplumni.
Yes. I see, I told you, we're going to have a lot to talk about here. I didn't prepare anything for this Monster of the Week. I'm just doing this from the top of my head. So I probably don't think I'll even need the Monster Manual, to be honest, but I'll put it next to me anyways. Essentially, Kuo-toa are fish people. Like purpley. They're like small, medium. I think they're medium sized still.
Oh, I always imagined them being small.
They are in fact medium. They're medium humanoids.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
They. I think their history is about how they were previously being controlled by the mind flayers, and their minds were altered. And now they can do this weird, funky thing where if they think about a god, that god all of a sudden exists now. Which is, of course, a very weird ability for them to have, because it means that they've conjured up some really weird gods.
Yeah.
So essentially, in lore, Kuo-toa are in the Underdark. They form these tribes, and they worship their own gods. The canon god, I think, is called Blibdoolpool. And this is a lady that has a lobster for a head and has lobster claws, essentially. But the Kuo-toa, of course, because of their weird ability to create gods, they've got a really good template, I guess, or they're a really good base creature to build your own gods around. Which is what I did in one of our campaigns that we ran.
This is gonna be awesome.
Which was the Underdark campaign we had. So I created this god called Scorpioplumni, which was this half man, half crocodile god. He had the large face of a crocodile, and then multiple of his body parts were made of stone, I think, something like that.
Well, we met him in a jacuzzi.
Yeah, so I was trying to build up the weirdness of the Kuo-toa, and also this almost nefarious way in which they form their gods. So I think the Kuo-toa are heavily influenced by H.P. Lovecraft's story called The Shadow over Innsmouth. That makes me sound like I'm really smart and literally in tune. I don't know what the story is actually about. I've just heard that, so I don't know.
That's a shame. I've read it though.
Yeah, I'm sure
not going to disclose any of it.
You have actually read it?
No.
But that's kind of why I like to play up the nefariousness. So in my mind, if they have their gods, it's kind of this thing that keeps reaching out and influences everyone around them. That's, for instance, the same reason that if a player character would convince the Kuo-toa they're a god, it wouldn't be a good situation for them. Because whilst they may get godly powers, because the Kuo-toa revere them as a god, and they, in a way, become more godlike, the Kuo-toa can also impose their own influence on the way that you are a god. So you might become this weird fish hybrid that has godly powers instead of a barbarian if you were a barbarian before, for instance.
Some or alignment changes might happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, really drastic things.
Exactly. So to mimic the similar effect, what I did
weird.
was it's not how it's in the book. That's just the way I
Is it also that
use it?
The more Kuo-toa believe in something, the more powerful it gets, or?
I imagine that would be the case. Once again, I'm not sure if that's the way it is in the books, because I tend to run these guys on the way I think it should work, because that's more interesting in my opinion. Anyways, so the way I had this a same idea of this nefarious spreading out was that I gave all of you your play characters, I gave you dreams about this crocodile god. But I wanted to play up the weirdness of making your gods as well, right? So you had the dream where you woke up in this jacuzzi with this random crocodile that's just sitting in the jacuzzi, just sup, you want to join me?
We messed with the Kuo-toa before, but we escaped their village, and then we returned to a body of water where the Kuo-toa used to be located before we like messed the whole village up, or at least
I don't think you ever messed the
we
village
popped
up.
their bubble.
Yeah, they had like this large like magical bubble that like protected their village because they were like
on the bottom of a
directly,
lake.
Yeah, they were like a house at the bottom of the lake.
Yeah.
Then you pop. No, I think they popped that bubble themselves because they were trying to chase you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys were like went into the temple like a peace mission, and they were like, "Oh, great! You've been sent by our god. While our god hates humanoids, you've got some humanoids with you. We'll sacrifice them for you. Thank you very much." Kuo-toa like hate any elf or humanoids because I think they banished them to the Underdark or something like that. Even they hate them. So they figured that you guys had bought them sacrifices, and you had to escape. So this is like a very random story to tune into. We're not doing. I'm not handling this segment well so far. Either way, you went down there. You popped the bubble, and there's like this huge like influx of water.
Yeah, and
went
then
past this village. It was like an
this
attempt
was
to
at the
chase
bottom
you guys,
of this underground lake.
Yeah,
and there was like a lot of water in this lake. So like we went back to the top of the lake, which was actually like a lot of traveling to the bottom of the lake. There was a distance.
It was like almost like a large cylinder of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was big, so it wasn't close to the village.
Yeah.
But we went inside of the water, just hunting for some crocodiles, I believe.
But the idea was that they had re-established the bubble, but further up, so the water had like gone down. So previously, where there would have been a lake where you could like just step into the water.
Yeah.
Now it become like this pit of like 60 feet drop, and then you get to the water actually.
Yeah.
So it essentially just migrated like a large distance.
But we quickly found out while hunting crocodile that when we touched the water, we got visions of this Scorpdi-Ploopdi, this half crocodile, half stone human.
Yeah, he was weird.
In a god, and when we touched the water, we actually just landed in his jacuzzi in some kind of weird vision. And well, people didn't believe each other, so each player character went there individually and had a talk with this god, which is really weird. Like, this figment of the imagination of this Kuo-toa is actually manifested and is speaking to you, and like it was weird. It was so confusing.
Yeah, also because the god was like the most laid back dude. He was
Yeah.
like, "Sup, come join me at jacuzzi. So how you doing, man?" And you were just sitting there like, "What? Alright, cool, man, I'll see you later." And then like the vision was over, right? Like really.
Yeah. And then you just wake up in the water. Was there any time passed when we had these visions?
I don't remember like the water touching thing. I thought it was like dream sequences.
No, we didn't went to sleep or something. We actually while hunting the crocodiles it happens.
Maybe I took people apart separately, and some of them had like extra dreams or something like that.
When we had touch water.
It's been a while since the campaign. We played it as well, so maybe some of the things are a bit hazy about it. But they had like this like whole thing thought out, right? I think I legitimately wrote 1.5 pages just based on like the religion of Scorpdi-Ploopdi. Because they genuinely had like this whole thing about them with like their like doomsday prophecy, where Scorpdi-Ploopdi. Oh god, this goes like way like into the deep lore of this campaign. Essentially, one of the big evil people, which I think we've mentioned before, is this guy named Cain. We really need to mention or like do the Underdark campaign.
Was he one of the like
session.
Presumed gods from the Kuo-toa? Just
what? No.
Oh, okay.
So we need to do like a different episode where we discuss the Underdark campaign, and we can finally just have you also know what is going on, because then we can just talk about this much more often.
Yeah.
So essentially, Cain had like his corpse in a sarcophagus that he tossed down his well to get rid of it.
Yeah.
The Kuo-toa had found this sarcophagus, and he like booby trapped it with a spell. I think the way that it like explode if you opened it.
Yeah.
and they'd found like this. So it exploded, and then they found these chunks of rock, of course, that came from the sarcophagus, as well as the burned body parts. And they thought, oh, Scorpion Plopti of the god of or the tribe has sent us a sarcophagus with his missing body parts. So their doomsday prophecy was that if they were to collect all of the body parts of their god, so for these like different body drops Cain was doing, they could like replace all of the stone body parts of Scorpion Plopti with actual body parts, and that would make him whole again as a god. And at that point, he would flood the earth with water, and he would create like a separate plane for the Kuo-toa to live as a sort of like eternal paradise, where there was like mud, there was water, there was everything they liked, essentially. That was like their doomsday prophecy, which is really funny because it plays on this idea of like, oh, this one guy is just dropping bodies down a well, and all of a sudden it's a religion.
It's a doomsday prophecy.
Yeah. The Kuo-toa, like, they really hate, like, elves and humanoids and all these other, like, races. So in their mind, the best thing that could happen is everyone dying and them getting eternal paradise. Which I find was just the funniest thing to, like include this, like, weird jacuzzi stone crocodile thing. It was just a mess of a religion.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. I think, at least. I feel like we've like really done a bad. I mean, I've done a bad job at like presenting what Kuo-toa are. If you've somehow managed to like tie some of these ramblings together into a conceivable idea of what these fish people are, they make gods. They're like very fish based and weird, and probably don't cross them because they'll
very religious
weird
type
gods
people.
after you. Yeah. Maybe we should quickly discuss their stat block, or maybe you can give some pitches as well.
They're heavily religious. We can. I would like to like quickly glance over their stat block.
Yeah. So there's like a few different types of Kuo-toa, so just one stat block because they form these tribes, right? Essentially, the regular Kuo-toa is a very simple stat block. It's CR 1/4, and they're like these horde enemies, right? So you just put a lot of it in a village. Done. They can bite, they have a net and a spear attack. But they have a few like specific abilities that every Kuo-toa has.
Pack tactics?
No, like really like, really like play on their like weird vibe. So they're amphibious, of course, because they're fish creatures. They can breathe air and water.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Then you have this additional property, which I don't know if any other creature actually has this, but I think it's really interesting. They have a property called slippery, which means that they get advantage on ability checks and saving throws to escape grapples. So they're literally just fish, right? You can't grapple fish.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. And then they also get otherworldly perception, which means they can sense the presence of any creature within 30 feet. Be that like on a different plane, like the ethereal plane, like hidden through invisibility. So they essentially have like a weird version of true sight. Almost
That's
like
really weird.
Yeah.
And any Kuo-toa has this?
Yeah. Anyone. So I guess it also plays
can
like
they
this.
disconcern, like, do they know if it's like an other Kuo-toa or like an astral dreadnought passing
any
by?
Any creature, they can just pinpoint where it is and where it is going to move to. So I guess it like plays
That's really weird.
back to like these eldritch like inspiration where the Kuo-toa come from.
Yeah, I guess
It's like they get this otherworldly perception, which is what the ability is called as well.
There's some weird psionics at play here.
Yeah, but it's not really psionics, right? It's almost like they've like opened their third eye and they can like see beyond, or it's just it's exactly the type of ability you'd give a race like this, right?
Yeah, I guess there's some mind flayer in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can read through like their entire like lore, like figure it out, but who cares, right? Either way, aside from that, I think they're fairly simple. But then they're like leveled up forms, which are like the warrior Kuo-toas, and the priests.
The
priests are CR6, which is actually pretty good, I'd say. For like a race of like small fish dudes.
Is it like...
It's a spellcaster.
Yeah, but does it have like some tanky HP as well? Like to back up those spells? Or
it has 97 hit points.
That's a lot for a fish person, I'd reckon.
Yeah, the like warrior ones have 65 hit points.
Do they actually, through their scaly skin, get some kind of bonus to armor?
Well, they don't have scaly skin, right? They just have like slippery fish skin.
So they don't get a racial bonus to AC.
They have natural armor, which isn't that high. It's like 13 or 11.
And what's their dexterity?
+2?
+2.
No, actually +0, except for the priests, which get higher because they have higher CR.
So they do have some kind of, well, resistance. Because the natural armor doesn't, obviously no armor. For a normal humanoid that would be 10.
Yeah, they get 11.
And they get...
they get like +1. It's not really that good.
Well, it's there.
I guess.
It can make a lot of difference if you use them as horde enemies. Or if you try and disrupt a caster.
I guess most OE spells don't really use armor, right? So... Yeah, they're not really like tanky, I guess. They're not really supposed to be. They need like these horde creatures, I guess. So you just throw like a lot of them at your players. And then I think the way you're really supposed to run these guys, if you start like a huge battle with these, is that like the priest Kuo-toas aren't going to be the strongest guys there, right? The strongest creature that you're going to fight if you challenge the tribe of Kuo-toa is their god.
Yeah.
Right? So at that point you need to have like Scorpio Plupti or Blibdulpoop or whatever god like be in the battle, make your own stat block for it, and like really, get a battle going.
Convince it, yeah.
Yeah, of course it depends, right? I'd say a tribe that has like 10, 20 Kuo-toa maybe isn't strong enough to conjure up their god. But if you're fighting like 100 at a time, yeah, fuck it, throw a god on there, see what happens. Could be fun. I think it's also like said that these gods aren't like at the level of actual gods, right? Maybe Bleepdulpoop would be an exception, because he's like a template god that the Kuo-toa have. But I didn't see Scorpio Plupti as like this conqueror of worlds or whatever.
No.
He was just this guy that like 20 people believed in and manifested because of that.
Yeah.
Well,
it was enough to have a jacuzzi.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that was like his power. You could like summon jacuzzis, I guess.
That would be a very chill god to hang around with.
Yeah. Until you start becoming like a fish hybrid, because the Kuo-toa think you're like his friend. Also a crocodile or whatever. So yeah, the priests have like some spells as well, which are like cleric spells, because they're priests.
Yeah.
It's not too interesting. But I did think of something that we might also want to discuss. Because I also use like a different idea of like creating Kuo-toa champions. So I'd created like this custom Kuo-toa, who was like the champion of this village that had been like enlightened by the light of Scorpio Plupti and like gained his specific powers. But the Kuo-toa had like fully gone crazy. So he was like CR7, he had like a really high like damaging abilities, multi-attacks, really high armor class as well.
Okay.
But all he would do was just do this. Plupti, Scorpio.
Oh no, it was that guy!
Yeah, exactly. He would just make weird like guttural noises and say Scorpio Plupti to himself. He would do nothing else, but he was a champion of this village.
Yeah. I think we met him.
Yeah.
And we declared him like actually mentally insane, and we handled it. We
I don't remember what you did with him.
We treated him as small fry.
Yeah, no, he was like their god. I think he did do like a lot of damage, right? Did you ever actually like kill him or counter him?
I believe we took him and then we met the Behir.
Oh, I think you like met him and then you had to like leave because there was like a stronger enemy, maybe.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, but he was like. He was fully like, once again, like, man, there's like this jokey form of the Kuo-toa. Where it's like, oh, they've created this god. But at the same time, if you had to fight him one-on-one, you were toast. Because this guy did a lot of damage.
Well, I was convinced he was small fry.
Yeah. He definitely wasn't like the scientist that. Definitely mentally insane.
Yeah.
That was funny though. It was like the idea of like this crazy Kuo-toa. Because I'd found like this like image online of like this weird looking Kuo-toa with like these bulgy eyes, like this weird smile, which I like use as a token because we were playing online at the time. It was really funny.
That brings back some memories, man.
Yeah, it was nice.
I think we should round off this episode.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess like the point of that story was maybe I just wanted to tell it, to be honest. But also, get crazy with it. If you have like this race that can make your own gods, like start homebrewing some crazy stuff. Make your own gods. Give them like weird properties, like this specific guy that was mentally insane but did like have multi-attacks and all these weird like godlike abilities. Because that's just cool.
Yeah.
Like they gave you this crazy.
Why did you make him? It's just cool.
It's cool.
It's just cool.
Yeah, they're nice. This entire Monster of the Week segment has just been a weird tangent, to be honest. But
this whole session,
this whole podcast,
yeah.
This is what happens when we don't prepare. And I think it's probably better. It's more organic, right? Oh, we still need to give like that quick PSA, right? So this is
PSA.
Yeah, we mentioned it at like 20 minutes in the podcast, but I'm like just thinking of it now again. So we recorded our last episode like a month ago, but even longer. And we had Ralph on as a guest. Ralph, the guy we also keep talking about. We're like slowly doxing on our friends. I don't think it's smart. Either way. And we had like this podcast where we talked about the Beholder campaign, which I think I've also mentioned in other episodes.
Yeah.
And then I fucked up the audio. I just like messed up the setup a bit. We weren't like in the ideal place to record. And the audio is not usable. We can just trash it. So episode 8 exists, but we'll probably never upload it. It's like the missing episode, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's why episode 8 isn't here. And this is also all of a sudden episode 9.
That's sad. Maybe we can upload it as an unofficial episode somewhere. Like just like, to have the thing out there. But
yeah, but maybe we should wait for it until we get like a real following. And it can be like, ooh, the missing tape. Will they ever release it? It's like the Schneider cut, right? We can do something like that.
Which next episode is?
Yeah, it's episode 10. It's probably Bars, I think.
Yes, it's about Bars.
Yeah, yours like your favorite class. So
it's one of my favorites. Yeah, I like the simple classes.
That's good because you get to host it as well, so you get to do all the work.
Barbarian and Bard, yeah, that's my stuff, man.
Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to next episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Bard, next up on the list.
Yeah.
We are gonna cover every subclass.
Oh, you're gonna cover everything. I'm gonna be forced to listen to it.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess we'll end it there.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good one too. And for the audience as well.
Later.